To our 3 listeners out there, you're the real MVP.
We love you.
We're gonna cue for applause. All right.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Love you guys.
Welcome back to All Nine In. This is episode 5.
Hello.
Yes, 5 episodes. That's what we have so far.
Are you sure? Are we counting properly?
As of right now, I'm pretty sure it's episode 5. I think we're doing a pretty good job.
All right. I mean, I'm not counting.
As if our 3 fans do say so themselves.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon's mom.
Thanks, other mom. We just got a number of moms watching us.
It's a mom channel.
It is Mom Channel. We talk about what matters.
Moms listen to us because they like to know what's going on with today's youths.
Today's episode is sponsored by moms.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, moms. To all the moms.
Appreciate it, moms.
So I'm just going to dig right deep into it. So, I want to ask you something.
Go for it.
You felt pain, right? I'm talking physical pain.
Physical pain?
Yeah.
Never.
You never had nothing, not even a paper
Never.
cut, not even a zipper to the dick.
Too edgy for all of that.
Too edgy for all that.
Pain excites me.
Oh, okay.
No, I felt pain.
All right, so I was gonna back away for a little bit. Like, hey,
I stubbed my toe once or twice.
So you stepped on a Lego 3 times a year.
Well, once or twice.
Once or twice.
I wouldn't be here if it was the third time.
You know, there's an actual competition. There's a world record for that shit.
Stepping on Legos?
Yeah, there's a whole trail of Legos like on the floor, and some guy has to run across it.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it's all collected together, I don't think it hurts that much. It's that one random Lego.
Yeah, it's the one Lego.
Yeah, it's the one fucking Lego.
That sticks into the ball of your foot, and you're just like...
Embedded.
I want to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the worst. It's the worst. But I'm saying, there's a freaking whole record for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of us can do it. Just some idiot didn't have enough time to just... Buying Legos is just a lot of money in general.
This is an actual thing?
Yeah, no.
Is there an audience just cheering this guy on, walking through Legos?
No, I think just one dude just running across while some guy from the Guinness Book of World Records just...
That guy's feet are fucked up.
But I'm saying, though, I don't think it hurts that much if you're just running across a bunch of them. It's that unsuspected Lego.
You ain't gonna catch me doing that.
And it's the fucking...
Competitions.
It's always the 4-brick one.
The 4-brick one. No, you need the fucked up shapes. You need that slope. The wedge. That's the son of a bitch. You need the fucking L-shaped Lego. That's the skinny ones too, not even the fat ones. I'm talking about the tiny skinny Legos that you see on like the pirate ship.
Okay, the quote unquote detailed ones. So you use those for detail.
Those tiny fuckers.
You finish off the Lego, the building blocks with that little
yes.
skinny one. Yeah,
yes.
All right, cool. Nope, doesn't hurt me. I'm talking about the actual brick. So, basically, you have an understanding of pain. You've had a paper cut, or you've been punched before, and you can relate to somebody if they ever come to you and say, "Hey, I've been hit," or "Hey, I got a really weird bruise," or "Hey, I got a really weird cut."
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Cool. So, with that basic understanding, I want to ask you a question. Why is it that in our dreams, though we do not understand certain pains, we can actually feel being hurt? Extreme cases being shot at or being stabbed.
Ask me why? I don't know. I did have a dream once upon a time where I was being shot multiple times.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and it's like in the dream it hurt like hell. But I think after waking up, like thinking about it again, it didn't hurt as much as I think it should have hurt. I mean, I've never been shot, so I don't fucking know. But like,
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I also had a dream where I was being shot at, and I got shot in the arm, and I felt that pain, and I felt the graze of a bullet hit around my head. It missed, it just grazed me, but I remember feeling that pain. That was recent, and it just woke me up, and I was trying to understand why. How do I know what that pain feels like, and how do I feel that pain in a dream?
I don't know. I think we always try and substitute things. I think. Don't we, like, as humans, like, we always try to understand? Like, I think that's the nature. I mean, we don't always understand, but we try to understand. So, like, we're like, constantly comparing something to something. So, if someone says, oh, how does it feel when you step on a Lego? Well, it's just like, hey, well, have you ever stepped on a tag? Like, we always trying to compare pains. So I feel like that's kind of what we're doing when we get shot. So we've never gotten shot, but we try and compare it to another really sharp
What do you think that our minds try to make that connection? Well, you just said. I know you just said we try to understand.
Why do I think this? Because we don't like not knowing shit.
That's what you think?
Yeah.
So
We hate not knowing stuff, so I think that putting that little template there in our head means like, oh, I know it, or it satisfies our need to know it,
okay.
even though we don't really know it.
So I decided to do some research on it. 'Cause like I said, it woke me up, and I was confused. This wasn't the first time I actually felt pain in a dream. So I went online, I started reading some articles, and then it came down to what is a dream. So most dream theorists believe that dreams are meant to help us sort out our problems. It can range from what you did that day or whatever your mind thinks requires the most of your attention. Isn't that interesting?
I don't want to believe that that's true.
Well, that's fine.
Based on the fucking dreams that I have.
No, but that's fine. These are just theories, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I can understand that, but it scares me if that is a true thing, just because of it's the randomness spectrum that my dreams are.
How random?
You know? Very, very fucking random. Like,
no, go ahead, because we're gonna pull out that segue one more time.
Yes, I mean, I could probably pull out a couple dreams that I've had, but it's just like, well, it's just like, if it's supposed to be, let's say this theory that it's my brain trying to think about what I should think about. I'm trying to figure out why I have dreams where, like, I don't know, they're so random, dude. It's so random. And the problem with dreams for me is just like, it's hard to like remember it and tell it in a way it makes sense. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but if you ever tried to explain your dream, it doesn't make sense. So I'm having trouble like putting an example up. But like, there are just things like, let's say I'm working and I walk into the back room at work, and then it's like I open the door and now I'm at home, and then like, what is that trying to tell me is what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's so random. I'm just jumping from place to place, doing thing by thing. I'm a superhero, and I fucking open this door and go into work, and I'm just working. And then I sit down in the chair, and I stand up in the chair, and there's a zombie apocalypse happening, and I'm like, if this is what my mind's thinking about, what's
the real problem here?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, cause like I feel like there's things that I should be thinking about. You know, people want to think about their future, like. So in the conscious realm, I think that this is what's important to think about. But you're telling me that my dream is like, no, this is important. Zombies, work, teleportation.
Yeah.
Really?
So, in the beginning, with the theory I just told you, where we use dreams to help us solve issues, that came after one of the founding theories, I want to say. So there was this guy, Sigmund Freud. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I've heard of Mr. Freud.
You've heard of Mr. Freud. Everybody in Psych 101 has heard of Mr. Freud. And I'll tell you now that
was he wrong?
No, he wasn't wrong. Some of his theories actually did give us thought. You know, it really did help us think outside the box. Mm-hmm. But most of his theories, they were out there. All right. So if you let me tell you something about Freud. Freud believed that dreams were meant to show you your repressed longings. So basically,
repressed longings.
Yeah. So basically, let's put an example.
I do want a zombie apocalypse to happen.
Okay. So if you explain stuff like that to Freud, he would try to relate it back to your desires, and most of his desires often stem from sexual desires. So
I've had a few of those myself.
So well, going back to repressed longing. Basically, let's say me and you. We do this podcast thing. We try to do it for at least an hour, correct? On the days that we meet up. But let's say we did it for 24 hours. Now, we will have needs and we have wants and yada, yada, yada. So let's say when you fall asleep, everything that you wanted to do in those 24 hours that we spent together, you would have it in your dream. So let's say another example would be...
I'd have a dream about just making a jelly sandwich.
That would be something. Seriously, that would seriously be something to Freud. To Freud, if you had a dream that you said, "I just found, hey Freud, I saw the most delicious chocolate shake ever," and I just remembered craving that chocolate shake and sucking it, right? So to Freud,
the exact word choice.
So to Freud, he would say, "Hey, the cylinder shape of that glass represents a penis." All right. So anything that was cylinder shaped was kind of like a penis. Your repressed longings was you wanted to dig. Anything that was
I think Freud's
Well, most of his theories came like that because he lived in a time in Victorian England where most of anything sexual was actually repressed. So most of his theories came off of that, and also Freud did a lot of coke.
Did he? Do a lot of coke?
He did do a lot of coke. That guy picked his nose constantly.
So he didn't need any marijuana. He had another.
They didn't have. They put it. I put that shit on everything. That was basically it. That was Freud.
Okay.
So the Freud, and I'm gonna make
penis milkshake.
Penis milkshake, and the chocolate was actually a black guy. So what you're telling Freud is, I want to suck the shit out of this black guy's cock. No, I'm kidding. The chocolate part didn't make any sense. The chocolate part is not a part of it.
I was never going to view any chocolate thing in anyone's dream the same ever again.
No, the chocolate thing is not right. But anything cylinder shaped, or anything, as he would explain, anything if you saw like a cave, or let's say there was a train going through a tunnel, you wanted sex. If you saw anything like going through doors, anything like vagina shaped, or you entering something, that means you want a vagina. All right. Again, Freud did a lot of coke. And most of his theories, we take it with a grain of salt sometimes, and we just try to use it as
Freud's bad shit.
I don't know.
I think Freud's...
Because it's one of those things where you learn about this guy, and like I said, people in Psych 101, and I hate this shit because you see it all the fucking time. They come out of the damn classroom saying, "I understand you now," because Freud says A, B, and C.
People who like to analyze me.
Yeah.
After their 101 class.
101 class, and the first thing you learn is fucking Freud. And I hated it so much.
Yeah.
When you leave 101, you learn that Freud was actually a cokehead. And most of his shit does not make sense.
I didn't know that about Freud after my 101.
He loved coke.
I think my professor liked Freud so much he wanted to maintain this perfect image.
Liked Freud?
I never heard that fact about him before.
My professor liked Freud because he was an analytical therapist. But he told us straight up, listen, the guy was out there, and take it with a grain of salt. All right, there was a lot going on in his life, and
I'm not gonna deny. So look, right, I'm not gonna deny that maybe the smallest detail about something is representing something else.
Yeah,
like maybe a tunnel is representing something more than just you being in a dark tunnel.
Correct. I
don't know if it's a dick that my dream's trying to say. You were inside a giant penis. So this is your prolonged desire.
So that first theory I told you about actually came from a guy named Carl Jung. So Carl Jung was working under Freud at the time, and he told Freud about the chocolate milkshake, and Freud was like, "Yo, you like black dick?" And he was like, "You know what, Freud? I think I'm gonna go. That's it for me." All right. And so he said that. So he said that we actually use dreams to solve our daily problems, or anything that's stressing us out, or anything like that. We take those ideas and we try to analyze it in some way.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
Yeah.
I think in some way you do feel, or there are certain things. There's a mix of all these theories.
Has a dream ever solved a problem for you?
No, it just leaves me confused. Just leaves me completely. But like you said, it's the smallest details that we take from dreams, and we try to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's so irritating about dreams, you know? Because you're saying, why did I die in a dream? Why is my teeth falling out? Why am I flying? And you feel these things. They feel real to you. In that moment, you're actually living that life, which I think dreams are so amazing about that.
Are we gonna segue into lucid dreaming by any chance?
I might get there.
Because now that you're bringing this up, I don't know too much about lucid dreaming. I've never done it before, or I've never had a very lucid dream where I felt like I was in control, because I believe I mean, isn't that what it sort of is about? It's like a dream that's sort of
you're
controlled.
Completely in control of your dream. You're aware of your dream.
Okay. Is it aware or is it just control? Because I feel like if it's control, does that theory still apply where this is like still talking about?
And what people explain is if you know that you're aware, then you should be able to control it.
Okay.
You should be able to pull out. You should be able to create sequences in your dream since you're aware.
Yeah, we had a friend on the show a couple weeks ago. Zayed had told me before that he lucid dreamed and he controlled his own flight. Once he realized he was lucid dreaming, or once he realized he was dreaming, he was like sort of like something snapped in his conscience where he took control of what was going on, and he was just like, oh hey, well let me just try and fly, and then he did, and so it's like, that I don't know, that level of I forget what I was trying to say. I forgot my point. But like, does that control that we have over it still like abide by this whole, you know, the dream is trying to tell you something sort of thing?
That's like I said, all these things I'm telling you, nothing is fact. These are all theories because no one understands dreams. We can only interpret them.
Yeah, none of this shit's gonna be right or wrong, but like I'm asking more or less like, what do you think about that? Like, if you lucid dream, you control your dream. Are the events that happen in there like fully in your control, or is like your dream still telling you shit that you're not fully aware of?
I rarely lucid dream, and when I do, I don't remember them.
So you have before?
I think once upon a time when I was a little younger, yeah.
I don't know what this feeling's like. I've never had it. I've had a dream that was extremely vivid that I can remember perfectly after waking up.
Actually, I just had a memory. I remember doing it. I remember I was sleeping, and I knew I was sleeping, and then I woke up from that sleep, but I was still dreaming, and then I didn't realize I was. It was weird. It was like an inception moment. That I went from, hey,
it's like an out of body. Did you see yourself sleeping, or like did you just wake up into a sleep?
I just woke up, and I was doing a regular thing, like I was living a daily life, but then it turns out I woke up again and I was just actually sleeping the whole time.
Yes, that's happened to me a few times.
So that first one I think would have been a lucid dream because I was aware of the fact that I was actually sleeping, until I made myself wake up in a dream.
Yeah.
Maybe.
This dreaming's weird because it's like you didn't know you were dreaming because you were still dreaming.
At one point, I broke off from the dream. Yeah.
It's like it's so trippy. I think you were dreaming. I think you're dreaming of lucid dreaming, but you weren't actually lucid dreaming. You know what I'm trying to say?
I get it.
It's weird.
So there's a third theory that I looked up. It's called activation synthesis hypothesis. Let me try to say that one more time. Activation synthesis hypothesis. Correct? So with that theory basically said dreams are just random impulses, all right? What dreams are is we take bits of scenery and imagery that we collect from our memory and try to make sense of all that stuff. That's all that hypothesis says. Hypothesis.
I like to think that because like I think there's some truth to that too. I feel like the truth of dreams is like all these theories kind of on a common ground. They kind of we take something from all of these. I think that for like what Freud said, I think there's something there that is like small things do have a meaning. But I also think that a lot of it is just what we collect throughout our lives and throughout our day, just jumbled into one thing.
Yeah.
Because you ever like see anyone in a dream and like it's a face that you can swear you've never seen before, but it's still familiar. It's not like a stranger's face.
Uh-huh.
Like if you have a stranger in your dream, oftentimes there are, like any bystanders in your dream, you don't actually see their faces. You can't call out, oh, this guy was a random dude. For me, at least in my dreams, that random dude is a person. In the dream, I don't know him as the same person. He is like, so if I have a dream of a dude, let's say you were getting shot, right? So let's say I had a dream and you came up to me and you were shooting me. It's different because it's probably a bad example to use you because we spend a lot of time with each other. But let's say like a coworker that you've only worked with for a week, right? And this face, that's the face that's shooting in your dream. And in a dream, he's not your coworker that you worked with. He's just some random guy shooting you. Right? But then you wake up, you're just like, oh wait, that face that he had, that was my coworker that I worked with.
So that's the fun part though. Why?
It's interesting that your brain put that face there because like it didn't know how to make up a new face that it's never seen. It put a face.
Yeah,
there.
But we also have a lot of stress that helps with our dreams too. That causes dreams. So like I said, the first two theories. Well, the first one being that we try to solve problems, and then the other one I was talking about, we take images and try to make sense of them. So you seeing your coworker's face could be you trying to make sense of what you saw in that surrounding, but also at the same time, if he's shooting you, what is that trying to say? What are you stressing about there?
Yeah, so you're saying that the fact that he's there, I may have some sort of underlying subconscious issue with him in the real world.
Well, that's what also Freud said, that the dreams are gateways or subconscious, unconscious, one of those two.
Both
I'll get back to you.
both of them.
Yeah, so they're gateways, and with all these theories that go on and us trying to interpret as much as we can, there's no right answer, and I think that's the fun part of playing with dreams or trying to understand dreams.
I want a right answer. I'm sick of not knowing.
Yeah, but that's also the thing that, for me, it's just like, hey, the brain is so complex. Your brain is still working as you're sleeping. It's still helping. I mean, it's still creating a world inside of you, for you, to help you or just to show you things.
Yeah, the brain is it's pretty fascinating. The things that it does, and it goes like you overlook it a lot because it's just something that everybody has and something that happens automatically, so you don't note it for doing all these amazing things. But the brain's kind of creepy in how fucking good it is at doing its thing.
Yeah, it's something we don't really think about so much because it's just an everyday thing, like you said.
It's automated. You don't control that, so you're not meriting it. You're not like, oh, good job, brain, for doing that. It's just like, no, in your head, it just does that.
It's one of those things where people just say you're only using 10% of your brain, which is not true.
I've heard that's been disproven a number of times.
But it's fun to play with the idea.
It's like I think that idea does stem from something that is kind of true. Like there's a lot of your brain that you don't control. I think is what they're trying to get at for that. Like anything. So let's talk about like all the automated stuff. Like I don't know. You can control these things, but you don't have to, like breathing, blinking, reflexes,
heart rate,
yeah, your heart beating, all those things. You don't control that, and so it's just like you can kind of write that off as you not using that because you're not actually putting power into your thoughts to do it. You're not telling your brain, hey, make sure my heart's beating. It's just sort of a thing that's happening. So I think that's what that theory sort of means, and there's a lot of what the brain does that we don't like participate in as our conscious selves, I believe.
Yeah.
I think our body as a whole uses pretty much the whole goddamn thing, whether it be subconsciously or consciously, right? I think the subconscious handles anything that we don't really know that we're handling in the real world. So I'm trying to get at. So I think our body as a whole handles the brain entirely, but we as the conscious, this is what we care about. All humans care about is the conscious version of ourselves, and that is what is using 10%, quote unquote, because
I'm only using 10%.
Yeah, we're not even at our final form.
Again, these are just theories.
I like theories though, because like, I don't know. Theories are funny. It's like some guy who's got like the answer to this question that everyone's asking, but he doesn't want to be wrong for it, so he's just like a theory.
It's just a theory.
There's just a theory.
Yep.
He wants to be fucking right, but like in case he's wrong, it's just like, oh, my ass is covered. I said it was a theory.
Don't quote me on this, but this is how I think it works.
Yeah, theories are funny.
Which is fun. I mean, but I was going back to it. How can I understand being shot at? Like I was saying, my dream that really spun me around. I was at a concert. I was enjoying it. I was with my girl. I look behind me. There's cops. The cops point ahead. I look at the direction they're pointing at, and I felt a gunshot on my arm. Then I dropped, and I felt one grazed by my head. And bullets were everywhere. I heard bullets everywhere. And the next thing I know, I look over, and my girlfriend is dead. And that's what woke me up. Not being hurt, but seeing her that way. I guess from the fear, the shock of it all.
Probably, yeah. I think you brought up another point. I think like that point in your dream when you wake up. I think that's when you reach a feeling that your brain can't really describe. We were talking about before, like when you die, we don't know what that's like. So you immediately wake up because your brain's just like, well, don't know how to finish this story. Wake up.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think that when you saw the traumatizing event of your girlfriend dying, your body was like, I don't fucking know how to deal with this shit. Nope, back out. Let's finish this story later. So I think that's why it bumped you out. I think when the dream gets stumped, it's like a story being written. When the story writer gets writer's block, he just doesn't know how to express this feeling. He just closes the fucking book and you wake up.
That's true. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just so crazy. And to answer, I mean, we're not gonna have an answer to this, but I try to look it up myself. There is no answer to why we feel pain. or how can we understand it, or how can we know what it feels like in a dream? There is no answer to it. There's just these theories behind it that could help you. But the thing for me was, I was in an environment that I like. I love going to concerts. I saw something that I wanted to be, a police officer, and I saw someone I loved. And something that I feared was getting possibly shot at. So, you know, it's just things. Am I stressing out, or is my brain trying to tell me something, or was I somewhere that I'm trying to understand what I actually saw at that time?
All right, I got a theory, right?
Game theory.
I got a theory. Shout out to my pet. I'm an avid fan. One day you'll sponsor me. I have a theory, right, as to why that dream went the way it did. You said you saw something you wanted to be. You were with somebody you wanted to be, and you had the fear there. I think, like, so let's pretend, right? Let's pretend that the theory of this dream is that you had everything you had that would make your life perfect. You had the person you wanted to be, you had the career choice you wanted, and you, in your head, you were just like, I got it all. What could go wrong? And that's what went wrong. So what happened was, the one thing that could end all of that is her dying and you getting shot. And it's just like, none of those things that I liked are going to be. Because you were incapacitated, your loved one was gone. So it's just like, I think your dream was just like, this is what you want, and I'm afraid of this because this will end it. If this happens, this could end everything that I like. And I think your dream was just bringing that to light to you. Don't get fucking shot. Because all that shit's gone.
Words to live by. Don't get shot.
Don't get fucking shot.
And it's fun because I'm not saying the dream was fun, but the fact that we can have so many dreams throughout the night. How many dreams do you actually have?
You can't count that number. Because I feel it. Because, like, what's funny, and the movie Inception brings us up at one point. That's why I like that movie, because everyone loves talking about fucking dreams. But it brings up the point one time where it's like, oh, you never know when your dream starts. You kind of just jump into the middle of it.
Yeah.
So, like, when I think of my dream, I don't know what the first fucking dream I had was. I don't know where it started. You know what I mean? I could be jumping on the 8th dream, the 4th dream, the 3rd dream. The first dream, I just wouldn't know, because everything kind of just starts in the middle. There's no, like, in dreams, there's no, like, introduction. It's climax after climax after climax after climax. So who knows how many dreams I have? How many I can remember, that's a different story. I can probably only remember, like, 1 or 2 that I've had.
Yeah.
But I feel like more is happening. Like, how long, like, time. How long time, like, we don't have a perception of time while sleeping.
Not in dreams, nope.
So we don't know that dream that happened at your concert. Let's say that to you in your dream, that might have been, like,
the whole fucking
like a
8 hours.
5-minute experience, but that could have been like your 8 hours sleeping thing, right?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
It couldn't. That could have just been about 15 minutes of your dream, and then the rest of it you just don't fucking remember, because this is probably what you like prioritized. You were the most. This one affected you the most.
Yeah.
So you just kind of repressed everything else that happened.
That's another thing. Apparently everybody dreams. That's what we're trying to get at. Everybody does dream. And you have multiple dreams throughout your whole sleep cycle. The thing is, at certain points, you fall into the deepest level of dreams, which would be REM sleep. And REM sleep can last up to a max of 30 minutes. And this is the point where your dreams are the most detailed.
Yes.
So think about that. 30 minutes throughout max. It can range. But if you keep falling back into that, the only dreams you should probably remember are probably 1 or 2, but you wake up and you kind of don't remember most of it.
Yeah, because I see what you're saying. The REM sleep dreams are the most descriptive, so
yeah,
everything that's happening outside of the REM sleep, you don't remember.
And the thing that's happening is your eyes are rapidly moving at this point. Your heartbeat's going up, and your body's completely paralyzed. So you don't act out on your dreams. So think about how your brain works at that point. It's saying, hey, this guy's gonna start stressing out if we start showing him more realistic things. He might jump out of bed. So let's put his whole body to sleep, or paralyze him in some.
Right. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I never thought about it that way. So you're saying that, hey, let's show him some fucked up shit, but he's got to keep sleeping. We need sleep.
It might not be just fucked up shit.
Let's put him. Well, anything that's gonna get a reaction out of him.
Anything that gets too real.
Let's say Alberto needs sleep. Let's make sure he stays asleep. But me, the dream maker in his head, I want him to see this, and he might react. He might jump out of bed for this. So let's paralyze him.
Yeah.
Let's paralyze him deep in his sleep, so that when I do show this to him, he doesn't wake up.
Yeah, and that's so weird how the brain. We were born this way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's automated.
We're born this way, and our body knows how to handle us because it already knows what might happen.
Yeah, I think I thought of something before. The topic kind of got swarmed away, but we said something like a lot of dreams happen. You only remember this or that. Like everyone dreams. I feel like, I think like, I think your brain kind of filters out the nonsense dreams. Maybe because you've had them a lot, or maybe because your brain just doesn't deem them worthy of memory. Like there's a lot of things in your conscious life that your brain just doesn't remember because you don't think it's important. Like the color of or like the text of somebody's graphic tee that you see in person. You know, you might remember, hey, what that shirt said. You have trouble remembering that because your brain's just like you don't care about it. So I feel like in the dream world, you have many dreams that your brain's just like forget that, we don't need it, forget that, we don't need it. It's kind of like a flash drive, and it's just like, well, I want him to remember these things. I got a total of like 3 thoughts, for example. Yeah. And anything that doesn't fit on here, we're just going to fucking get rid of it. This chocolate milkshake? Fuck it. We don't need it.
Chocolate milkshake.
We don't need it. I want this fucking concert scene to happen here. So let's put this here. That matters more. But you could have had like 10 other dreams, but your brain was just like, don't care about those, but don't need them.
Yeah, because we're not at the most...
It's just not important to you. I think your brain knows what's important to you, and your brain's just
so
like,
that kind of falls back to one of the theory of what requires your most attention. Of you trying to solve your own issues. You said that we filter out the nonsense stuff, correct? Mm-hmm. So that falls back to the theory we were talking about. We go back to the dreams that require most of our attention, anything that we can use to resolve everyday issues. See how you just you didn't mean to bring it up, but you kind of filtered out. You try to make your own sense out of it, what we've been talking about, and you fell back to that theory.
Yeah, I didn't know I brought the theory up, to be honest with you. I wasn't trying to bring the theory up.
Yeah, that's just... So, somebody
So, whose theory was that? Who do I
That was Carl Jung.
Alright, so I'm a Carl Jung.
Carl Jung? You don't want to be...
I don't want to be cokehead Freud.
No cokehead? You don't want chocolate milkshakes in your life?
I don't want chocolate dick shakes in my life. No thanks.
What about the activation synthesis hypothesis?
I think that is it. I think
you have
like
a mix of 2 theories that you want to believe in.
Yeah, it's weird how I think about shit, but like when you just said that, here's how my brain's processing this, right? Because I have like a technical background, so this is probably why I thought of it this way. But like, I like to think that what is that? The activation synthesis.
Activation.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I got
activation synthesis hypothesis.
We're stupid. we're stupid.
I got Slytherin tongue.
Activation synthesis. Yeah. I think that is like your brain storing a bank of like assets. So let's say like if we're making a video game.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm a gamer. I gotta do this. Let's say we're making a video game and we have the idea of a town that we want. So what does a video game consist of? It consists of a cylinder, then some textures thrown on that, and it makes like a tower.
That's
okay?
a penis.
That's a penis, right? Let's say I get like a stone texture, right? And then I create a 3D cylinder and I just paint that on there. That's like an asset. And so I'm like slowly building this world out. I think what our brain is doing throughout the day is it's taking assets. Like, all right, when I dream tonight, I want to dream of a building. So let me take this building and store it on memory to be an asset. And I'm just gonna fucking throw it in there to fill space up.
You know what I just thought about? And
what?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna derail really, really hard.
Uh-oh. I hope we're not talking about cylinder penises.
No. That idea that Freud said that we can relate anything to regress longing, right? Mm-hmm. And most of the things are sexual. I started thinking about Silent Hill. How most of the monsters represent the character you're playing as something sexual. And
Yes. Silent Hill's cool.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is very cool theory. I think Silent Hill is like but that's also the other dude's theory, right? That's also activation synthesis, because
yeah, you're right.
That's kind of both played into like the same thing.
Yeah. And
what was the other guy's name? That's what I mean. No, the third dude, the one that I'm in.
Carl Jung.
Carl Jung, right? What was his one again? I'm sorry.
The one you relate to, that's the one, right?
Yeah, but like I forget, because I'm relating to all these shits now, and it's just they're all confusing me. I'm not a psych major. I draw things for a living.
He tried to give attention to something that requires. You could try to give attention to what requires the most out of your life.
Okay, so like Silent Hill, for example, all right? Let's treat Silent Hill as a dream. Literally, Silent Hill is all 3 of those theories in one.
Yes.
Because the monsters that the protagonist sees throughout Silent Hill not only do they look like what he's seen, activation synthesis, and matter deeply more than just a monster, Freud, but it's that monster represents something that's important to that protagonist's life.
Yeah.
What's his name again? I keep butchering his name.
Jung.
Oh, Carl. All the theories play into this. That's why I think a dream is. I think it's all of them kind of push into one thing. I think they're all right.
Yeah.
And like all like 10% or 30% right. You throw them all together and it just creates what it actually is.
Yeah.
So in Silent Hill, Harry, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the first game, he loses his daughter.
Yeah.
And he sees these tiny little ghosts running around Silent Hill that want to fucking kill him. And they're like, they're sort of like a representation of his lost daughter. They don't have any faces on them, and they're like a representation of the fear of like losing his child. And so, it looks like a child because activation synthesis, and it's not just a monster; it's representing his daughter, which is Freud's theory, and the fear that he has toward this being is like kind of Carl's theory, all put into one thing, just this one thing. That's cool that all three of them are right if they work together. If you work together, you guys could get somewhere.
Well, who says they don't work together? People want to fall back to activation synthesis theory because it makes the most sense. They don't want to get too complex with their dreams. Because think about it. If you die in a dream, what do you want to think? Or you see a family member die. What is someone superstitious going to think? Superstitious. Sorry.
I want them dead.
No. It's going to say, oh my god, I had a premonition. My family member was going to die.
People think that? That's not how I would think about that.
Superstitious, I'm sorry. Some people think that way.
Superstitious.
Superstitious. I'm just gonna roll with it. Roll with the punches.
I didn't really. I wouldn't take it that way. I mean, I guess I can understand superstitious people being like that, but that's not how I would
Yeah,
take
think
that.
about, I saw God in my dreams. I saw a demon. People say I'm being haunted by the devil. I've had a demon dream before, and I actually have a list of what different things mean when you see them in dreams, which I'll bring up later.
Let's
I could bring it up now.
bring it up now.
So I pulled up this list, and it basically says that if you see demons or monsters in your dreams, it tends to mean you're looking to change aspects of yourself. If you keep seeing yourself as a demon, you need to think about what you don't like about yourself. That's what you can interpret it as. There's other ones, too. I mean, let me see what else.
I can't relate to that one directly. I don't think I've ever seen myself as the enemy.
So, I've always had a weird one where I die, right? And that's always been the creepiest one to me. Like, why? Why do I see myself dying? So, I looked it up, and it comes down to death means you're wanting a new beginning. So to me, and other articles I saw also stated that if you see yourself die, it's because you're changing something big is changing about you, and you're becoming a new person. So it can't. It feels scary, but what if your mind's trying to tell you, hey, we're doing something different now, and you're shedding that old person you were. You're killing off that bad. Yeah. To me, it sounds like a good thing, but it's so scary. Another one that I usually have is about teeth, and that one freaks me out. When your teeth are falling out, you ever had that one?
I've never had these dreams before.
I've
I've died in my dreams, but my teeth falling out?
Yeah, that one, it sucks, because I'm just hanging out, or I feel a tooth, and I start wiggling a little bit, so I say, alright, I guess this one's done, and I pull it out. And the next thing you know, the next one falls out, and the next one falls out, and the next one, it just keeps going. I'm freaking out, because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna look like this for the rest of my life. So teeth falling out is all about your power, and usually means you're feeling subconsciously repressed or controlled.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's true with the dream that you had?
I've read different theories on what the teeth thing could mean. If they say if you lose one tooth, you might lose a family member, but it's just it gets a little weird. But I
think trying to predict something in a dream is kind of that's kind of out there.
What do you mean?
Like, if your dream is telling what's gonna happen, unless you have signs in your life, like a person's sick. If this thing is just saying, not to jinx anything, I'm not very superstitious, but let's say my dream is just like, oh, my brother's gonna die. Like, let's say I lose my tooth in my dream, whatever you're trying to say that this means, right? You say you lose one tooth, that means someone's gonna die.
That's what some articles say.
To me, I don't think that unless you're actually sick and you're showing signs in my life that you're sick and you're like going down and like a downhill spiral with health, I don't think that makes sense for my dream to say you're gonna die.
Yeah.
because it's kind of out
See,
there.
that was one of the ones that was out there, which I don't want to go for.
Yeah.
But I do bring it up because some people do have the one tooth dream, but I have multiple teeth that fall out.
I've never
So
had that
I
dream
don't
before.
know.
That's weird. Do you feel like you're being
Repressed or controlled?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had that dream for a while. Probably in my teen years, I used to have these dreams, and it's usually happened when I'm at work or I'm just hanging out, and I just start falling out. Maybe at the time I was dealing with different things, and my mind was trying to subconsciously tell me something. See, it's weird when you try to interpret dreams, when you're trying to break it down. Right now, as I'm trying to repeat it back to you, I can't see myself as that, but at the time, maybe, and maybe I used that to change a little bit. But I remember always having that fear of me saying, "Oh my God, everything's falling out. I'm gonna look like this for the rest of my life. I can't smile anymore."
All right, so I'm not a very religious person.
Yeah.
I tend to have a lot of dreams where very spiritual events are happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like a ghost or a demon is interacting with me.
We just had demon talk.
So, yeah, you told me what it means if I'm the demon. What happens is, so I had this dream where I was in an elevator. Elevator. I was in an up and down box, and it was going up, and each floor was showing me like different events. So like I went to this one floor, and it was very eerie looking like hallway, it had like lights hanging out the ceiling and tiles missing and paint scratched off the wall. It looks like a place you don't want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then I went to the next one, and I heard like screaming from this one, and I saw like a circular, like the elevator entered like this hexagonal room. Oh, that's fucking symbolic, isn't it? But it was like this hexagonal room, and there was like doors on each side of the room or whatever, and like I heard screaming and a lot of like mumbling and whispers from like every other door. And I went to this next one where it kind of stopped, right? That went for a while when I was going to like very different themed floors. But I stopped at this one floor where for some reason in my dream I decided to walk out. And I'm walking out, and there's like it's like a very long hallway, okay? And there's a doorway midway through this hallway, and there's a light shining on the ground. So picture like everywhere's black, but this doorway that's shining some light out of the doorway, just right across to the wall. So I'm slowly walking up to it, and then this shadow figure walks past that light, and it blocks the light out. And as it's blocking, it's very big. It's big enough to block out the entire light of the door. And once it blocks it out, I feel this very cold feeling. And the shadow figure resembles a human, but like humanoid. It doesn't look like a human, but it had like shoulders, head, had a torso, had arms, you know. And so it walked past and blocked this light out. And as it blocked the light out, I felt this very cold and numbing sensation around my body. And then I woke up, and it felt like this thing was grabbing me with like its dark powers. So I'm just like, what does it mean that and this sort of thing happens to me a lot? I get fucked up by demons. Like, why does this shit happen to me all the time?
So I just pulled it up. If you had this dream, then this means you need to be more persuasive and powerful. Perhaps you feel a little bit weak and you don't know how to confront certain things in your life. You need to find strength in you to fight all the bad things that happen to you and make you feel better, and make that. So basically, anything that makes you feel bad, you have to fight it off. Maybe you're feeling a little intimidated. Maybe you don't know how to handle situations. But that's for one demon. For multiple demons, it says that it's a negative sign overall. It's important. If you keep having this dream constantly, it usually represents a negative set of mind or negativity that is affecting the dreamer, and that it's come from an outside source. So I can interpret that as depression.
Okay, I don't know if I've ever felt that emotion, or not emotion, but that feeling of being depressed. So
everything you just feel down about everything, quite honestly. Most people who are depressed, I know they try to keep a certain a smile, quite honestly. You come around and you try to be as nice as possible. That's what most people say. Oh, I didn't know the person was depressed. I didn't know what they were going through, because they never show it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think that's the worst part about depression. But we're derailing again.
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, depression. You really can't tell unless you talk to somebody. And most people don't want to talk about it. And that's just.
Well, I know that myself. I know that I don't believe I'm depressed for any sort of reason.
But yours falls back to the one demon.
Yeah, I had one demon.
Yeah. I don't know when you had the dream, but at the time you might have been going through something that's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to change, and I feel kind of weak right now.
It's around college time.
Yeah, that's a big fucking stressor right there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. We've had a dream and they stayed with us, which is the crazy part. Like the dreams I've told you, that's happened to me since I was a teen. I mean, it happened when I was a teenager and it stayed with me for this long.
Yeah, certain ones take precedent over.
I don't remember what caused it, and I don't remember what resolved it, but it stayed with me. Just like your demon one, you remember this one and from your college days, and that was back in forever ago.
Yeah. This is probably about 6 years ago that this happened, this particular dream. But I've had other ones like it. You know, I've had other ones where demons are fucking with me, and it's not a pleasant time. I dislike those dreams, and I don't know if they ever actually had meaning. I'm okay with things not really having meanings. I'm not the kind of person that always wants to find a reason for things, especially with something this abstract as a dream. I'm okay with it being, well, that just happened just cause. But it's fun to think about, you know, and that's what we're doing right now, is thinking about it and more or less pretending that these things do have a meaning.
Keeping you guys up, helping you guys understand that we don't understand.
Yes, no one understands.
But not all of them are bad.
Is that a gigantic spider?
Yeah. So there's a gigantic spider in one of the articles I'm reading.
Fuck that. My brain saw that. I was just like, yeah, we're dreaming of that. That's
you want to know what it means? If you see a spider in your dream?
What does it mean if you see a spider in a dream? Let's go through the list. What's on there? Because that might be interesting. What is people out there who's got spiders in their dreams?
There's not all of them are bad. And I'm going to go through a little bit of them. So spiders often mean you feel like you're not in control. And you're being excluded by someone or a group of people from something they're doing together. It's common to dream about spiders after you learn you're being cheated on by a partner. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Flying. Now, flying, I've had the flying dream. And you said Zayed had a flying dream, too, once upon a time. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my favorite. Have you ever had a flying dream?
I've had a flying dream.
Isn't it amazing?
It feels pretty good, yeah.
It feels amazing. You're flying, you see the blue sky and the wind.
I've flown in a universe that doesn't exist. I created my own world. I'm writing a story.
Yeah.
And I've flown in this universe that I created. And
that's another thing I'm going to talk about a little later on, because we're talking about trying to interpret imagery we see in our daily lives, but how the hell do we create different worlds?
I was going to bring that up when we were talking about the assets thing, but it was like there was other things to talk about. But yeah, as a story writer, the story I'm writing is based on fantasy, right? And it's about things that just don't exist in our world. So it's like, where does that come from?
I don't know.
If no one's ever seen, like, let's think like just everything, right? Mm-hmm. If no one's ever seen a real zombie, like a person animate from the ground, I mean, it's some part of it's imagination, but like, how do we know what they look like? How do we know what a demon looks like? Most people haven't really seen one. I know it's kind of like a controversial topic. Some people do see these in their lives, but it's just like,
a zombie? People seen zombies in their lives?
No, but like. No. I said demons. Some people claim that they've seen, right? Yeah. And so I've never seen one though. So how did I have the shape what a demon would be in my dream that fucking touched me, right? Like, how did I make that up?
I think the demon or any kind of monster. Well, monsters are different. I'm talking about demons now. Any kind of demon, I think, since we already have some kind of idea of what it would look like. You see drawings of it. You see.
Well, who drew that? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, you're trying to say, what was the actual source?
Where did it come from? Why does that happen to someone?
I wonder who was the first person to say this is what a demon looks like. The person has horns because horns are evil. The person is red, or the person has cat eyes.
Yeah, why do we associate all that thing with fear in the first place? They're just normal appearances at the end of the day. It's not our appearance.
They just took a bunch of different things that they were afraid of, and it's weird.
And then we're all just afraid of it now.
And now we're all just because now we have this depiction of what this monster can do to you, what it could look like, how big and get your imagination takes over the basic concept of what it was. It might have been a little. You remember back in the day they had that little skinny devil in the Bible, has a pitchfork, and it just it looks like a little tiny thing. And now our imaginations take over, and we create these huge things. But how do we create those? How do we have the image, the knowledge to create that?
It's sort of instinctual, because I had this conversation with someone before, and I was just like, let's take a child, an infant, who has no association over, like cat eyes being creepy on a human or white skin being creepy on a human. This person has no preconceived notions of anything. But if you show them a picture of like a really white-faced person with really large black eyes and like black lips and sharp teeth, they get scared.
Yes.
So like it's instinctual for our species to fear this sort of thing. I think it plays into the uncanny valley. We don't like something that looks very similar to us but different.
Ooh. That was cool.
Right?
That was freaking interesting.
Like those,
I've never heard of that
like a
before.
zombie looks very similar to us but different, and it's very like, whoa, why does this thing look like me but it doesn't look like me? It's fucking me up. So wait, maybe that's where the fear comes from. Like, but why are we afraid of something that looks like us? Why is uncanny creepy? At the end of the day, it's just something that resembles us, right? It's like it made in our image.
We're not talking about what they can, what they're written to do, right? We're not talking about.
No,
yeah.
I'm just saying like you have an infant. Let's say an infant can speak and completely express itself, through language, and it sees a picture of the white face, big black eyed, sharp teeth, cat eyed thing, and it's like, and the infant says, "This shit's fucking creepy." Why? You have never associated any of this with bad. This is your first like exposure to it, yet you already think it's creepy. And what I've read, or what I've researched this as well. This is a long time ago. I actually looked at this shit, and it was said that we as humans fear it's the uncanny valley, things that look very similar to humans, right? For example, dolls or mannequins.
Oh,
It's
God.
creepy,
Yeah.
because it looks like us, but it's not. There's something that's like it's like 2% not us, and that small little thing there is what fucks us up.
You're afraid of big heads.
I'm afraid of giant heads, giant human figures. If there's a giant hand, the Statue of Liberty is fucking creepy. But why is she creepy to me? She's just a human. She's just a human holding a torch. She's very big, yes. But why does big scare me?
You're escaping my realm of knowledge in here.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And so yeah, we derailed completely. But like,
no, we're still with dreams.
I'm still very curious as to like how we come up with these things that are this is scary. This is not scary. This is cute. Red, this symbolizes the devil and evil. Blue, this symbolizes why. They're just colors that we in real life don't even see them on those things. In our daily life, we don't see them on a devil. We see red on an apple on a tree. That's something completely harmless. And we see blue in the ocean, which is sort of kind of ominous in a way.
Yeah.
But we always see these other colors of happy, and red is just always bad. Like, why do we associate that with that?
If you're talking about infant, I can understand that it's a little confusing. But as we grew up, they were shown to us with a bad depiction of it, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah.
But why? Like, why did that person who showed that to me also believe that? Let's go far. Let's keep going back in this tree. Keep going back. Keep going back. Keep going back. Who was the first person that looked at the color red and said, "This color scares me. This color sets me on edge"?
Might have been-
Bulls.
Yeah.
But that color does that to bulls. Maybe that's what it has to do with. Because
It's not the color. I found out it wasn't the color. It was actually them waving the cape erratically, so that irritates the bull. It's not the color red. It's just the fact that they can move it really, really quick, and that red color they can't really perceive it or something like that.
I heard that no animals don't have color receivers in
Yeah.
their eyes. I heard that red was one that stood out the most to them. Like everything was black and white, but the red had a different pigmentation than their.
I gotta look down back up then.
That's what I read.
And if anybody else out there knows the answer, I would love to hear in the
Yeah,
comments.
I really want to know what that is because now I'm hearing another side of this. But I don't know.
Why? You're saying why?
Let's go back to the first person that saw red and it's just like not fucking with that one.
So think about it like a caveman at this point. Caveman starts a fire. Caveman sees red. Caveman touches fire. It hurts. That is bad. Red color thing bad.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Other colors. Well, we see the sky. The sky is blue. Watching the sky is calming.
Do you think that? So you just brought something up to me, caveman era. Let's try and get really let's try and get really simple because things were simple back then.
Yeah.
Like, from like more or less, things were extremely simple. Is big black eyes and sharp teeth? Is that scary? Is the uncanny valley scary? Things that look like us but aren't scary because of a human that dies looks like us but loses that us part of it because it's dead. When you see a body start decaying, it's like their eyes get a little sunken in.
Yeah.
And
The
weird
white-
shit starts to happen to
Yeah.
their face, and then you fear that because this person is now it's death.
It can be, if I had to interpret it, it can be a number of things. It could be what you see in your future. Like, for me, if I see a dead body, that'll be like, damn, that's me one day, and that freaks me out. You know, for other people, it could be that just looks it's not pleasant for anybody's eyes, and for us to not be able to understand the concept of what's going on freaks us out. If I had to interpret it.
Okay, so like a mannequin.
Okay. So a mannequin,
Why is that or a doll, a children's doll?
children's doll is creepy. Just like you feel weird about big, giant body parts, I feel weird about small, tiny body parts. Not midgets. Don't get me wrong.
I know that, but I don't know why I'm afraid of that. It's just a body part. If I seen it drawn, technically it's small. Like if I draw an arm on paper, it's small. It's not the size of a real arm. It's not to scale, right? So why doesn't it scare me there? It's when it's like in the real world, I'm just like, fuck, that shit's big. I don't like it. I don't like that thing. It's just an arm. It's just.
I feel the same way about skyscrapers too.
Do you? I don't feel the way about structures. So like when you know how you can walk into the Statue of Liberty's like face, right? You can like walk around her crown, I believe. And
See that if you're making me get too close to it, then yes, it does freak me out.
that
a little
fucks
bit.
me. No, I don't care. I don't care when I see her from a distance.
Yeah.
I can look at pictures of the Statue of Liberty. It's when I'm standing on her torch and I look down at her face and this huge face is just there.
Oh.
That is why is that creepy? It's just a human. It's just a human figure.
I think you awakened something in me.
It's so it's so creepy. You've played what's that game called? BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the angel that Elizabeth is in? At one point, you walk out onto her face and you walk like up her face.
Yeah.
When I realized that I was on her face, do you know how fucking freaked out I was? I was like, wait, where am I? I'm just kind of up in space. You curve around and you like walk onto like her eye area and you go inside. I'm like, that's a fucking nose. That mountain right there is a nose, and it fucked me up. I don't like that, but I don't know why I don't like that. Far away was the problem.
Yeah. I can see it now. I don't know why it freaks me out either. I've never had a problem with it before, and I've never. Maybe because if I had to take it back to a deeper level inside of me, I would probably say it's the fact that I'm so small compared to her.
That bothers you consciously.
Consciously, yeah. Like no, or unconsciously. That it could be like why this huge thing next to me or around me, and I'm so small compared to it.
So I can get why that bothers you, but that doesn't bother me. Right?
Okay.
Being small to that structure doesn't bother me. I visited the Grand Canyon, and I felt tiny. Looking into the Grand... If anyone is not gone, you should go. Because no pictures do that place justice. When I looked into that canyon, I felt unbelievably small. It was quiet, and it was just this vast hole in the earth. And I'm just like, I feel extremely... But I wasn't scared.
Uh-huh.
Now, fill that hole up with a face. That... Or even just a hand coming out of the earth.
Yeah. Earth.
That fucks me up. And I think it's because it's uncanny. It's like a human, but it's not because it's so large. But why does uncanny bother us so much? If it's just made in our image, I'm not afraid of another human. Like this thing is made in our image. Why does it bother me so much?
You really I don't know, that got me because I can see what you're saying. I can kind of understand it. I mean we're gonna go about it differently, but I don't know why like something so big can just freak us out.
I've had a dream.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if this fucks you up.
You've had a dream.
I've had a dream. I was in the ocean. I'm afraid of the ocean. Ocean's probably the one thing that's a structure, or not a structure, but like not a human thing that I'm afraid of because of how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
And in this ocean, I was sinking with my back toward my front was toward the surface, and my back was just slowly sinking. So I'm slowly sinking, and I land on the surface, and it's like a hill surface.
Uh-huh.
And I stand up, and I look, and it's how it gets really dark in the ocean, so all I see is this big mountain that I'm on, and it disappears into the darkness, right? Then I feel myself rising through the ocean. And, you know, when you're rising, then light starts revealing itself on things more. Dude, I was standing on the fucking nose of some giant, like, fucking serpent queen. And her face was rising. Oh my, I'm getting chills thinking about this shit. When I got close to the surface, her whole face lit up. It was like fucking 8 football fields long. Just, I looked this way, I looked that way. Just the face. Her lips were behind me. Her 2 eyes were in front of me. And like her side was her huge ass fucking cheeks. And she didn't even look like a human. She had like fucking like serpent features, like scaly skin. And like really sharp like eyebrows that like came out to like Argonian like fucking horns.
Argonians.
It looked so creepy, and that dream fucked me up.
Do you want to know what water means in your dreams?
What does water mean in my dream?
Water related to dreams can mean you feel overwhelmed or unsupported by your loved ones.
I don't know if I was seeing anybody at the time. This is kind of a while ago, but that's interesting.
Well, loved ones can range from family too.
That's interesting to think about too. But I mean, that's something that see this is how I feel about horoscopes, because that's so vague that can apply to literally anybody.
Yeah, it can. You're right, but it's fun to think about it. Maybe it might put a perspective to things, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can't filter this thing out by yourself. So having this, all these things you take with a grain of salt. I mean, none of it's gonna be actually real. I mean, there's like few theories out there that describe different things. The water or the lady you were seeing was probably, maybe you wanted some fucking sex from a giant lady. Who knows? You know?
I did not want death by snoo snoo. No thanks. That shit would fuck me up.
Well, what has anybody out there have had any weird dreams like that? Anything that you had to look up? I would love to know that.
Yeah, I think those dreams that like you hit Google up the second you wake up, those are the ones that fuck you up.
But there's some dreams, like I was saying, there's some dreams that are cool in a way, because like we're gonna go back to what we were saying. We create a different world in our dreams, and
yes.
How do we create those things? And you like, how did I know that? Like I was in a space station once, and it stays with me until this day. Again, it's just like I know you hate mechs, but I was working on a mech.
That's boring.
Yeah, I was working on a mech, but how do I know what this complex technology feels like or looks like, or how to fix it? I mean, yeah, I can make it up, imagery, imagination and all that bull, but how was I able to actually understand what was going on if I've never seen anything like that in my life?
Yeah, it's kind of like the first person who makes like the Power Rangers, that giant thing where they all kind of come together. I don't know much about Power Rangers. I don't know much about Power Rangers, but you know what I'm trying to get at. That fucking shit where they hop in and like, I'm the leg, I'm the arm, that giant thingy, and it's just like, how did this person come up with that? If
Too many giant thingies.
Too many giant thingies. Please make your stuff small. I would appreciate it. No, don't. But he wouldn't. My brother does not like small things. I do not like big things.
I don't. I can't deal with dolls. I think for me, it's just always been the context behind context. The context behind this is a doll. Here I am to freak you out. People try to do these things to freak you out on purpose, and that kind of leaves an imprint on you. You know.
But I feel like if someone came at you with a banana and was just like, boo! You're just like, it's a banana.
Eventually, if you do that for a baby and keep that shit going, eventually he's going to be like, what the hell is that thing? I can't be around that thing. I can't be around that thing right now. It freaks me out. People have phobia. That's how phobias kind of start. And now we're going to go to somewhere else. You've never seen... you never seen the weird phobias on, was it Maury?
I saw a woman terrified of mustard.
Mustard?
Mustard. They brought it out on stage and she started crying.
I mean, I hate mustard
Was
too.
this Maury? I think this was fucking Maury.
Yeah, it was Maury.
Yeah, I don't like mustard either, but she was petrified that...
I think I saw about one about cotton balls.
Cotton balls. I mean... I don't want it on my sandwich, but it's not going to bring tears to my eyes in a bowl 6 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cue for applause.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Again, if anybody has anything that they want to share with us, that'll be great, because we would love to hear more about what you had to go through or you had to interpret, and did it help you in some way? Did any of these theories help you in some way? Did you do you agree with any of them? Do you believe in more? Let us know.
Do you dream about chocolate milkshakes?
Do you like dreaming about chocolate milkshakes? I gotta know that one too.
I need to know this one.
And if you don't, you're kind of racist.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And that's all night in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can catch us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube,
SoundCloud, wherever you can get your podcast. We'll try. We'll
your
probably
local deli.
Your local deli. We hand out mixtapes on every single corner, an hour long.
It's not much mixing in those tapes.
No, there's not hot fire going on in those tapes.
We're slapping 2 hours of audio onto a tape and sending it out.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Take care.